Lesson 8.8, solving multi-step equations and inequalities. So the scariest part probably in here is multi-step, because you're going to have to do a few things before you solve. But you already know how to know distributive property, right? Okay, because distributive properties will be a big part of this again. Remember how you distribute? Okay, that's a big deal. All right, so a few things you need to know. Because sometimes not everything can have an answer, believe it or not. Sometimes not everything can have an answer. And that's called a null set. There's no solution. And I'll show you examples of null sets where there's no solution. Virginia, do you need to sit in the front row? Because you're squinting. There is a symbol for a null set. And if you ever have a null set when you're doing a problem, all you really need to do is make that circle with the line through it. That means there's no answer. And then an identity set means there's many solutions to a problem, which you can also have. You can have many solutions to a problem and it not even be an inequality. So there's two different types you haven't seen today: null sets and null sets and identities. Okay, so when I was in school, whenever I had an equation I was doing and I never got a right answer, I just always put null set. Like, I don't know if this is right, null set. And so, like, sometimes my homework would be like 12 null sets and I had 13 problems. Like, okay, that's not going to happen to you. So don't just say, well, I don't think this is right, but I'm just going to put null set. Don't do that, because most of the time that's not right. There is a way to know if it's a null set or not. All right, so let's do a few practice ones. And let's just, not saying that these are going to be a null set or an empty set or an identity, but let's just practice and see what we come up with here, okay? So this is our first problem. 12m plus 12 equals 6 parentheses 3m plus 3. And our job is to always find out what the m or the variable equals. Harley, do you have a question, honey? Empty set? It's the same thing. Null and empty set are the same thing. Same thing. I always like to call it an empty set. I don't know why. It just means there's no answer in empty. It's empty. All right, so the first thing I have to do is I have to distribute like I normally do. Okay, I have to distribute first. Now, here's the deal. Please do it in steps. Otherwise, you're going to get lost. Some of you don't like to show work or do steps. You have to do steps today. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute, and I'm going to rewrite the whole problem, because once I rewrite that whole problem, I don't have to worry about distributing anymore, and to me it makes it easier. Because if I don't, then it looks like this. And I just leave it like that. To me, I need to see both sides of it, so I like to rewrite my whole problem. All right, so that look familiar so far? Just distributing, okay? Now, do you remember what we do next? This goes back to the days where we talked about getting rid of our duplicates on both sides. Remember, this was the day that we talked about with variables on both sides. Remember that? Okay, what are we going to do, Olivia? That's right. Okay, so could I do minus 12m on both sides? Sure. Could I do minus 18m on both sides? Sure. I like to go with what's not going to be negative. Okay, so I'm going to subtract what? I'm going to subtract the 12m from both sides, I think. Alright, so then I have 12 equals, let's see, 6m plus 18. Now it's a two-step equation. My next thing is I'm going to minus 18 for both sides, remember? Okay, so then it looks like this. This is going to be a negative 6 equals 6m. And then some of you might say, well, I don't get it. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to do. I don't remember what to divide by. But what do we always need by itself? We always need the m by itself, right? So what do I have to divide by? 6. If you never know what to do, always think to yourself, what do I need by itself? Okay, I always need this. So if I take negative 6 divided by 6, yeah, m equals negative 1. So if I would go back to the top and I would put negative 1 in for the m's up there, my sides would be equal. Okay? Anybody have questions so far? We're going to practice quite a few. Okay? Questions? Can we do another one? Can we? We will do another one. Me, you got that right. What'd she say? That's why you don't ask. I just tell. All right, so 5n minus 3 equals 3n plus 7. So first, distribute. Distribute first. So after you do that, 5n minus 15 equals 3n plus 21. If you want to try to solve this one, you can solve this. This one will have an answer. So this one isn't like a null or identity. This one will have an answer. I think it comes out to be a whole number. Okay, so remember what we did? This is like both sides. We had to get rid of 3n on both sides, remember? Did you get it? Good job. Yep. Nice work, you guys. So these two are examples of ones that have answers, actually. Okay. No. You got to show me work today. I don't know how you even came up with that. You got to show me work today. Any questions so far? Answer should have been 18, I believe. Okay. All right. See, not so bad. What's my next one? 18. That's a simple problem. That's simple. All right, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this one. This one, I'm just going to warn you, is going to be either null or identity. Okay, now let's do it together. Let's do it together. So get it written down. This one's either going to be null or identity. And Kaylee, you don't know what those are, so you're going to have to get that from somebody because we took that before you were in here. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, distribute, so I get 3y minus 15 plus 25 equals 3y plus 10. Now some of you are like, I don't know what to do next because I have this over here. I don't really know what to do. Put together what you can put together. Can we put together something on that side? Okay, so we know we have negative 15 plus 25. What's negative 15 plus 25? 10. Okay, so then it's going to look like this. See how that worked like that? Okay, now I want you to look at this. What do you notice? It's the same. So let's keep answering it. Let's keep solving. What would you do next? Okay, so let's minus 3y from both sides. Guess what you're left with? What are you left on each side? Okay, 10 equals 10. Now, do you think this is an identity or a null set? This is actually an identity. Why would this be an identity? Identity means that any number could go in for y and it would equal the same thing. Yep. They're going to be the same. Yep. So, okay, so here's the thing. Anytime that I come up, first of all, I got rid of all my variables. See how I got rid of my variables? And I came up with what's left. Anytime, so there's a few different ways you can know this is an identity. First of all, if it looks the same on both sides, that's a good indication. If it looks the same on both sides, it's going to be an identity. If you end up getting to the bottom and you have the numbers the exact same on the equal sign, it's an identity. What? Go ahead. No, not an identity then. Yep, let's say you have a negative 3y plus 10 over here and a positive 3, not an identity. It has to be exactly the same. What this means that no matter what number I put in for y, both of these are going to be equal. What if I put 1 in here? 3 times 1 is 3 plus 10 is 13. If I put 1 in here, is it going to be the same? If I put 2 in on this side and 2 in on that side, is the answer going to be the same? Yes, that's what an identity says. It says that no matter what number I put in that y, it's going to be the same on both sides of that equal sign. Okay, so what are some indicators that I know if something is going to be an identity problem? Yes. Looks the same on both sides. Or if I get down to the bottom and what, Olivia? Looks the same again. Yep. Yep. It basically tells me if I put anything in for y, then it's going to be the same no matter what. Okay. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Okay, so negative 5s minus 14 equals 2 parentheses 2s plus 3 parentheses minus 9. Looks confusing, but it's not. Okay, so did you get it distributed before you do anything? Do you see anything on one side that you can combine? Okay, 4s and negative 9s. Do you see those two things? Yep, so it'll be negative 5s, right? 4 minus 9. 4 minus 9 would be negative 5s. Oh, wait, what now? What are you asking? I'm sorry, I'm confused. Yep, because that's what this was. And then over here, I distributed. And then on this side, I got to put together things I can put together. On this other side, because it's on the other side of my equal sign. Okay, so I'm going to do this first. So this would be negative 5s plus 6. That's a good point, though. Make sure you're putting together things on the same side that you can put together on the same side. Don't be switching. Equals. Sure, you can do that. If you'd rather have that, that's fine. I like to put my variable first, but you could also do that too, Carly. All right, so now what do you think I should do? Let's add 5s on both sides, because I got to get rid of one side, right? Okay. You see what happened there? See how I canceled out all my variables? Okay, time out. See how I added 5s to this side? Because I wanted to cancel that, and I added 5s to this side. What happened to that then? It canceled out. So now I don't have any variables left again. And what did I have to break down? What I had left? Guess what? What kind of set do you think this is? This is a null set. When you have one that you get rid of your variables again, and you come up with two different numbers this time, it's a null set. That means there's nothing I can put in for s to make it equal on both sides. Yep. But you know what? Identity could also be when you get rid of your variables. So you have to watch for your answers down here. If you have two of the same numbers, it's identity. Two different numbers, it's null. So that's maybe a note you want to make in your notebook. If you get down to the end, if you have two of the same numbers here, like we did back here, that's identity. Two different numbers, that's a null. You do. You do. You do. Maybe we'll split this one in half. Maybe we will just talk about equations today and inequalities tomorrow. Because there's a lot, I know. There's a lot. So maybe I'll change this. I might change that to 1 through 10. So. Okay, so we try another? Let's try another one. Let's try another. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Make sure, I would put a 1 in front of that R on the end, just to make sure that, one here. You can try it, but be careful on this side, because when you put together here, this negative 5R minus 1R, you got to keep change. Okay? Don't forget that. You can try by yourself if you want. But I will also help you. So, on the same side. Correct. So like this side, those two things can go together first. Negative 5 minus 1 would be negative 6. Yep. I would start a new row. Mm-hmm. Yep. Don't forget your variable. Well, look at, yep, you can do that. Keep going. Okay, so what's going to happen to those things then? Yep. And what do you bring down when you got left? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Nice work. Okay, you had a problem here. You got to put this together, so it'd be negative 5 minus 1. So you're going to, negative 5 minus 1 would be negative 6. I got to talk about that. And, oh wait, this one? Okay, so time out here. Let's time out. I want to back up. I'm going to distribute this quick. Minus 8 equals negative 5r minus 8 minus 1r. Okay, hold on. When you are combining, remember when we were combining like terms and we did the circles and all that good stuff? Remember that? So when you're on the same side, that's what you have to do. You have to combine the like terms. You don't get to say, okay, well, I'm going to plus 1r here and plus 1r. That's only if you're going to the other side of the equal sign. Okay? So for this, it would be negative 5 minus 1. At the opposite, it would be negative 6r minus 8. So you can only do the adding thing or a subtracting thing if you're going to the other side of the equal sign. If you're not doing that, you can't do that. So then it looks like this. Okay, well, I notice it looks alike, right? So what do you think it is already? Identity, because if I add 6r and add 6r, this is what it looks like. Identity. Yep, that's all you need to write. Very good. I don't know. Hmm? Yes. No. No. No what? I think it's all whole numbers today. I think. Pretty sure. All whole numbers. All whole numbers. Okay, let's do another. Let's do another one. We're going to worry about that tomorrow. Okay? Here you go. Try this one. Ready? Try this one. No, I don't know. Oh my gosh, sorry. That's not how it looks. Okay, there you go. So the big thing, it's really important to get it distributed correctly, because if you don't do that in the beginning, you're going to be in trouble in the rest. Where's your answer? Are you done? Okay, so should be a null set. Null set. Because once you get done, you should just have 14 equals 32. Okay, I'm going to give you one more that has an actual answer. Okay, let's have one more that has an actual answer. Here you go. So it's 6 parentheses b minus 2 equals 2 parentheses 2b plus 8. This one has an actual answer. Depends. Yep, I would do minus 12. Yep. Oh, how did you make it an addition sign? What happened there? Times 2 is 16. Where's your answer? No. Olivia. Let's see. 6b minus 12 equals 4b plus 16. 4b or both sides. Let's see. Harley, where's your answer? So small we can't even see it. Yeah. Okay, enough. Play later. Yeah. No, should we? Oh, yes, right there. I thought you were talking about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your answer should be 14. Well, how did you get 16 plus 12 is 4? No, you don't keep changing. Plus 12 plus 12. 16 plus 12 will be 6, 28.